All right, man. Let's go ahead and get into it, man. I'm gonna play some music, and we're gonna get into it. I don't have too much planned, so hopefully we can get some people in this bitch. We'll see what's good, man. We'll see what's good.
I stood patient, never fold, circumnavigate the globe. I got the Midas touch. My diamond hands created gold. I used to
Songs be the way.
split it up and roll it, ate the more. These days I like to face my sober thoughts. I still get high, I'm just not ducking all my lows. I had to roll the runs and spill a little grabber for the fallen ones. And all the months that passed, 10 years to be exact. I see success.
Catch a little vibe before we get in it. We get it in, man.
City to Japan, New York City to Sudan. How many languages to tell you he's the man?
Wow. If you do not know me, my name is Champ. Do a podcast. Do these occasional lives, man. Live Thursdays. We're gonna try to see if we can run it back. We might run it Tuesday this week. It's good, Jaden. Appreciate it's happening. Follow me on Twitch, TikTok, Rumble, Spotify, X, Kick. All Life of a Champ podcasts. I'm gonna try to figure it out with the multi-streaming. Usually I do most multi-streaming, but for whatever reason I've been having issues. I'm really waiting for an update. I shouldn't have to do excess bullshit. So I'm gonna hopefully get multi-streaming here soon again, because I used to have it where I'd go live on Twitch, YouTube, TikTok, Kick. Should be automatic, but shit's tweaking out. I don't think there's multi-streaming in what the fuck is this? OBS. So, I'm gonna figure it out, man. But if there's any specific things you guys want to talk about, questions that you have, my opinion on certain things, let me know in the comments. Also, if there's any music recommendations that you have, leave it in the comments. Shout out to MOK for the MOK day. You already know, man. I had to mention something. From trauma to form a manga, keep my peace with a code of honor, soak my feet in the holy water, delete my people, the more Rwanda like rebuild. Do you really think that can happen? Sure, actively laying the track, and I don't just rap on the rappers, rap it sure. Count what you have for your ass for more. Back when I asked for the shit I have now, when my pop said coming from a past to poor ACDZ. Still been on my old Cole type music. I'm gonna play the new shit as well. I'm actually gonna play that next, I think. Never had stats, but always had a passion for running back and forth. I've imagined scoring over again and again and again till I crashed the boards, broke through the glass and I glanced and saw dudes at the mall running back to it, and I can't understand why that happens, even when the bag's secure, but the trap obscure. Play the new shit. I'm not gonna post it or anything, but I do want to listen to it because it's some good shit, man. Cole, man. When there's a will, there's gotta be a way. All right, let me play this shit. You know, I haven't listened to it like intensively. Listened to it maybe like once or twice. I know a lot of people will listen to it a lot, so this is the Fall Off. I want to watch the video too.
I see it. Yeah. Listen. I persevered through the worst. My thirst to adhere is a curse. My life, I see it in reverse. I first appeared.
I'm going to be reacting to that Fall Off. The album, I'm going to be reacting to it for damn sure. I want to get my raw reaction out of the songs, because I know I'm going to like a lot of the songs for sure. So you'll be in for a treat that night, whenever that night comes. The 6th of, I think that's, I don't know, is that a Friday? I'm not sure what day that is. It's the 6th of 2626. The drop, the date of the Fall Off, and yeah, I'm gonna be reacting live to that shit because that shit's gonna be a classic for damn sure. So I'll play the track, but this is all we got so far.
The driver steered to the church. My grandkids carry the coffin to the altar as they burst into tears from their shirts.
The tears rise to the sides of their face and into their eyes is piercing where hurt. Fast forward 60 years, I got verse of the year. My purpose is clear, it's to murk whoever dare flirt with death. The best alive, and what you now hear is the work. The inspiration was rare and in spurts, but when it's there, I'm immersed. My experience of being a parent dispersed. Watching my son disappear as I stare at his birth. And he returns to the womb, wifey stomach growing greater in girth. And then declining every time we come here to the nurse. With each day that passes, I can feel my career coming first. Do I? Took the wedding ring off her finger, and now I'm single, walking up the aisle backwards to an era of dirt. Falling clubs tipsy with a bitch I see clear through a skirt. The cameras be snapping, blogs be yapping, so I'm careful alert. Walking to my section, whisper right in my ear, we flirt, we part ways. I see her from a distance, she stares with a smirk. Cheers to the perks with the squad, we live for the search of new hoes. Lusty, quick to fuck me, unaware of they worth. We leave the club, drive to the show, and I swear that it's turnt. It all begins with encore cheers from those wearing my merch. Fast forward through years of rehearsal, losing, winning, bank account thinning, income streams nowhere near as diverse. And though I'm blessed, I see me stressing from hearing the chirps of naysayers who only days later I don't care to convert. On cloud 9, now signed to my hero, one of the so-called kings of this rap thing that I swear to usurp. Decade later, mama cut on the cable. My motivation to be greater ends the moment I appear in a purse. I'm growing shorter, pampers cover my hindquarters. I watch my father walk back in my life and it clears up a hurt I couldn't explain. Mama gives me my name, then hands me over to the doctor, and I watch as my spirit reverts. Then I'm no longer here on this earth. I'm no longer here on this earth. That's how I see it.
I'm watching it right now. Can't help to be immersed in that shit.
I'm gonna come in.
Fall off is inevitable.
Who the fuck is you? Who the fuck is you? Who the fuck is you? Who the fuck is you?
Who the man?
It's a real nigga coming through. Out the way, it's a real nigga coming through.
Shit's gonna be going dumb.
Come view the style of the unibrow Unabomber who maneuver through the drama with the suit up.
Bro, I cannot believe that shit. I cannot believe that shit. That shit is, you know, trying to pay attention to all the little intricacies of music, the storytelling in reverse. That shit's deep. It's interesting how he started with the end of his life, right? He said, he was referring to his grandchildren, crying and their tears coming back into their eyes and into a hurt space within themselves, obviously. And I think that's very, very interesting, man. You know, I've been doing a lot of, you know, thinking about the end of the journey. What does the end of the journey look like, right? What are you going to be remembered for? This is something that I personally read in my book that I got recently for my birthday. It's called, the book is Go Higher by Big Sean. Great book, right? I'm a couple chapters deep. And one of the things that he mentioned, and something that I was talking to my mom about the other day, is an interesting question that he asked at the end of one of the first chapters. He said, for the people that are in your life, right, who do you carry with you? Dead or alive, who do you carry with you in your spirit, almost, right? And what do they personally symbolize to you, right? And when you begin to think about these things, and as I began to answer these things, it really puts some perspective on what you value. It puts some perspective in what you look out for and what you see in the world. And when referring back to the end of the story, the pain that will come, he also asks a question in the book where he's talking about how what do you want to be remembered for, right? You hold with you certain people, right? And obviously what they specifically symbolize to you. What do you want to symbolize to the people? What do you want to symbolize to your loved ones? And that's kind of, I think that's hinting at the same thing as far as what he meant to them, the impact that he left behind. And it begs the question, what are you going to leave behind? What do you want to be remembered for? What do you want to persevere through in order to show people the things that are possible, especially your people, right? Your family, your friends, the ones that are close to you. And hopefully it's something. Hopefully it's something of meaning. Hopefully it's something that transcends your life. It's easy to live a life where you're not remembered for anything. It's easy to live a life where, your present is so insignificant that it won't be remembered. But for the people who make an impact, they make an impact for a reason. And hopefully you have a reason. And if you don't have a reason, I hope you find it. If you don't care for that, if you think it's meaningless, here's the thing, man. If you think it's meaningless, maybe you've never been personally affected by somebody who's left an impact. And if that's the case, then I feel bad for you. And hope shit changes. But other than that, man, yeah, it just puts it into perspective. What do you want to leave behind? What do you want to be remembered for? Like I said, hopefully it's something. Hopefully it's something that you can define. Hopefully it's something that you can actively pursue. And while you're in the beginning, which hopefully you watching this right now, you're in the beginning of that pursuit. Hopefully it's something that you can keep in mind, at the top of the mind, for your own inspiration, for your own motivation, for your own challenges that you will inevitably face in this life. Because I think that's the reason why most people fail. That's the reason why most people quit. And yeah, the only thing worse than a quitter is somebody who never tried. Keep that in mind. Whenever you're thinking about pursuing something and not actually taking any action at all, remember, there's people who have attempted that and they've quit. You might be a person who's never attempted it. You might laugh at the people who have quit, but you haven't even tried yet. So, give it a shot. Try new things. Leave an impact. Have an effect on people. Be remembered for something. In a world where a lot of people are forgotten, be somebody who's remembered. And hopefully remembered for something good. Something positive, something memorable. I'm not saying memorable because you can be memorable in a very, very bad way, but hopefully people have good memories of you. And that's pretty much what it's all about. That's what it's all about, in my opinion. I'm going to answer the question. Jaden had said, what are your goals for this year? She said, you can also be someone who made an impact that lasts a couple of years or one that lasts forever. Exactly. Or you could be a person that, doesn't make an impact at all. So, I'll answer your question. I do have a few goals in mind. I think at the very, very basic, to give you a vague ass answer, but it's still something that is very, very true, something that is very, very, a work in progress for me personally, right? And I'd say for most people probably watching this. One of the goals that I have for this year is to be the man that I say that I am. And that's something that I'm always constantly striving for, right? I'm always constantly trying to be, I compare myself to the man that I know I'm capable of becoming, right? So just trying to get closer in that regard, right? Whether that's keeping more promises, whether that's, following through with what I have to say, not really compromising myself in ways in which I know I will regret later. I think that's a huge one, very, very huge one as well. And if a lot of people are being honest with themselves, either they don't make any commitments big enough to actually have some judgment and have some guilt, or they do have some of those things in mind. They loosely have them in mind. They disregard them from time to time. And I'd say, in a vague answer, I want to be a person and I aspire to be a person. And I'm not necessarily disconnecting this from myself, but I'm always going to say I can always be better, right? But I'm going to try to get as close to that as I possibly can from here on out, for sure. And obviously, that's the vague ass answer, but specifically, I have it written down right here. I have some of the things. I want to do at least 40 podcasts, right? I do a weekly podcast. The volume of content, I want there to be more volume of content. I've kind of started this year up a little bit better than I ended last year. 40 podcasts. If I do a weekly podcast, then that means I would have done 40 weeks worth of podcasts, which would be more than last year, if I'm not mistaken. I think I did like 30 something, which would be pretty good because it would still be like over 75%. I'm pretty sure it's like 75% of the year. I want to create medium length videos, anywhere from like 2 to like maybe like 10 to 12 minute videos. I want to do a little bit more of those. And, lock in on a specific topic, expand the idea out, be able to explain it with stories and things like that. I think if I'm able to make 200 of those, I think I'd be in a good position. For sure. 300 shorts, that's something that I'm on the pursuit of right now. I made about 5 so far, which obviously I need to really boost the production of that, but obviously this is what I'm here to do right now. I have a goal in mind in terms of my body, my physique. I'm pretty decent. No, I'm not gonna say decently heavy. I'm really not. I'm about 160 right now, and I would like to get up to like 175, and by any means necessary, honestly. Ideally, I would like to be still somewhat lean. I'm fairly lean right now. My body fat percentage is probably maybe 13%, which is not the leanest that I've ever been, but probably about 13% for 160, which is not bad. So I would like to reach 175 lean. I don't know how realistic that is, but that's a goal that I aspire to achieve this year. Make $1 online. I think that would be an interesting thing. Pursue more side hustles. That's something that I would also like to pursue this year as well. Ideally, if I could 10x at least 10x my following, I think that'd be pretty cool. If I could at least be at 6,000 subscribers by the end of this year, I think I'd be in a good position. I'd be able to, have some momentum going. And I think that's probably been one of my biggest challenges over these last couple of years. And I mentioned it on a podcast. I think if it's not my last one, it was the one that I did before that, the beginning of this year, the first podcast of the year, where I talked about how I haven't really made, at least on the numbers wise, I made progress in my own personal life, and I made progress, hopefully that's going to be demonstrated as a result of the character that I built and am able to display on camera. But I would like to get more people to see that type of growth. I've done a podcast. I've been doing this podcast for about 40 years now, so hopefully there's some growth that can be easily visibly seen. Hopefully seen by a lot more people, get a lot more eyes on me, and I think that would be interesting and hopefully beneficial to a lot of people for sure. Other than that, I had written down 315 squat, which is really not that much. I've been going to the gym which will be 5 years in March, beginning of March, I'm pretty sure. So that's not that far away, and I already hit 315, so it's not that crazy. I just hit 315 on squat. What was it? Like last week? Or maybe, last week, I think so. On Saturday. Not the most recent Saturday, but the Saturday before that, I already hit 315 squat. I did it for 6, so I still want to find my my max. Maybe the realistic, if I can hit 405 for squat, I think that'd be pretty sick. Especially 315 for 160 pounds is fucking pretty good, I'd say, in my opinion. And then another specific gym-based goal I have is to hit 100 pound for a dumbbell bench. But one thing I've realized, and maybe this is speaking out of a limitation, and maybe I need to get rid of this, but I feel like when it comes to goals specifically, if you focus more on the system that is going to allow that goal to progress, right? If I'm dedicating myself and making progress each day, I will eventually attain the goals that I have set for myself. if anybody's here has read, which I've done it before, of course, the book Atomic Habits by James Clear, very, very good book when it comes to talking about habit building, more importantly, system building, and more importantly, identity shaping, right? Those are the things that I would like to, acknowledge, because when we're talking about goals can be very, very basic. They could seem like they're so far away when you set a goal out, and some people, they want to be a little bit more conservative as far as their goal because they don't want to fail themselves. They don't want to get discouraged because they didn't achieve the goal. And in some weird way, I feel like I kind of do feel that specific way. I don't want to overextend the amount of progress that I think that I can make in 1 year, and now I want to be able to impress myself over the progress that I can make in 5 years. And hopefully that's something that I could say. I could have said, I want a certain subscriber count 5 years ago, but maybe I wouldn't have made as much progress in my own character, in my own life, in my own, storyline that I would have liked to make. But maybe I hit a number and maybe I feel some satisfaction that way, but not feel as satisfied with my own personal, who I am with myself, by myself. So, yeah, I feel like if I just focus on creating systems, shaping the identity, that's why I had started off with the answer that I had given that was a little bit broad. I feel like I'll be in a good position. And let me ask you guys that question. What are some goals that you have set out for yourself? What is something that, like I said, not to overextend, not to try to overextend the belief that you have as far as what you can achieve, right? I'm sure you here might have heard the saying, people overestimate the progress that they can make in 1 year and underestimate the progress that they can make in 5 years. It's kind of what I was a little bit hinting at. But what are some goals? What are some systems? What are some identities that you would like to uphold? What are systems that you would like to instill within your daily routine that will get you to the goals that you inevitably will pursue or not pursue? Answer that in the just give me, if you could, just give me 2 or 3 in the comments if you are watching for sure. Get them hops back. I'm going to be honest with you. My hops never went anywhere. I can always jump high. Is there anything in specific as well? No. I'm gonna play some more music. If there's any specific music that I'm going to play, songs, let me know for sure. What do I have for the next one?
Yeah. Hey. Yeah. Hey. Vietnam. Yeah.
I'm in my Cole vibes, man.
Bitch.
Itch?
Yeah. I'm sipping liquor for the pain, pouring liquor for the slang. Nothing else can do the trick like hard liquor to the brain. Fall victim to the game. All this money we spent in my mind trying to figure where this 20 G's went. Maybe I should slow it down. Maybe take the pace slow. Second thought, I think I need to speed it up and make more. Time to build, lay go. In the Ville, lay low. Counting days, still waiting on that shit I prayed for. Am I ungrateful? Want it all so quick. Feel a vibrate. Hold up, I got a call. Oh, bitch, how she get my new shit? Swear the city too small. Type of chick won't take her shirt off cause her titties too small. I could give a damn girl, lift up that pretty blue bra. Now I'm in the deep sea and just how pretty you are. And that kitty go hard. Lord, I'm up in that. Got the type of kitty cat that make a nigga double back. Type of shit that make a nigga wanna fall in love with that. At the door with a towel on and nothing under that. Saying welcome. Hey, yeah. Yeah, welcome.
You know what, man?
Yeah, I let these words flow out like water from a spout, like rain from the clouds.
J. Cole might be my favorite artist this year, right? I'll tell you right now, with the fallout coming, I think he's gonna be my number 1 artist for sure.
Hope my songs live on. Where they miss me when I'm gone in the sofa, how long? So much shit is on my brain. Try hard to maintain. Sit and analyze my thoughts. At times I wonder if I'm sane. Man, it's hard to trust friends when the paranoia blends with the marijuana. Wonder what is high ever end. Swear I never smoke again. Y'all niggas blow the weed. weed. Let me take another shot, man. This liquor's all I need just to put me in the zone. So far away from home, nobody truly know me. Got me feeling so alone. They wonder what's on my mind, what's lingering in my dome. I tell them ain't nothing wrong. I deal with it on my own. I deal with it on my own. Yeah.
Facts.
Deal with it on my own, nigga. Yeah. Oh, welcome.
That shit was. I'm gonna play some. Let me see. What is this song? I'll play 2 songs from that album, the Wiz Khalifa album. See what it's about, man. Let's see what it's talking about, man.
We gon' spin around this block 3 times if we don't clean them. Niggas be saying facts and then be lying, that's how I treat them.
Oof, not me.
Couldn't bounce back and started streaming. Niggas started acting now, my niggas be saying facts and then be lying, that's how I treat them. Nigga fell off rapping, couldn't bounce back and started streaming. Niggas started acting now, my actress, she a demon. Niggas moving backwards when that bag come, they can't see it. Bitches breaking they back, pull that top back and showing cleavage. Every time I rap, I'm a diplomat, I really mean it. Every time she get mad, she call me back cause she ain't mean it. Living la vida, living la vida. My homies got my back and we ain't backing down neither. Living la vida.
Yeah, this might be a hit.
The way that she show balance, she could pass for ballerina. The way I'm earning stripes, you think I'm working for Adidas. The way I'm getting checks, it's like I'm dressing Nike sneakers. She don't even get dressed, just wear my sweats like Justin Bieber. I guess I'm Michael Jackson, get undressed and let me beat it. Living la vida.
He's actually nice on this shit.
The ones that be messy, keeps them cleaner. Living la vida, living la vida.
I'm gonna play 2 tracks
Bet you didn't know that she was an eater.
that you didn't know.
All my hoes like big chains and 2-seaters. I might have 2 phones, but you still can't reach them. Let my girlfriend have a girl that's not cheating. I just took this
That's
baby
true.
girl, now we beefing. Fuck you with my chains on, that's a threesome.
Crazy.
Go pick out a car and get me one. Looking for your bitch back, that's a refund. I got plays for the low, I got reruns. Living la vida, living la vida. You ain't got a sister wife, but you need one. Living la vida, living la vida.
Crazy.
If I'm at the airport, I need a greeter. They follow the leader. You still in the line while I'm getting seated. 200 a feature. Man, that bitch is wild, you can keep her. When I say wild, she be lying, she a cheater. Back outside, on my bullshit. Back on live, smoking a zip. That's all lies, you opening gifts.
Yeah, that's something he's been talking about recently. He's been streaming recently too, which is something that I'd say, you know, I don't know exactly what's gonna transcend streaming. Right? It's gonna be around.
Type my name on her, she'll be with me till the end.
Hold up. So that's something that I think is very, very interesting. We're gonna get back into this. It's like we're reversing the timeline, right? And what I mean by that is this, right? Hold up, man. I look too damn short on here. It's like so you have TV, you know, you have a collection of people who want to create a a network, right? You know, I think that's played out. The news and all that bullshit is just, that's the old timer shit, right? You're getting back into the radio stations, which is the podcasts. You're getting back into the, you know, in the shows, which is the live streams. It's just rebranded. It's repackaged, right? I do a podcast. It's kind of like my show, right? A lot of people do live streams. It's their little show, right? It's like a different version of TV repackaged as, you know, the individual creator that is hopefully cooler than the network, right? The network of whatever channel that exists, right? It's more personalized. And then eventually, you know, you start to have a little bit more of a production team, and it's like fucking TV again. You see what I'm saying? And with the streaming shit in general, right? I feel like if you're trying to build a solid fan base as a rapper, as anything, honestly, an athlete, a rapper, I think a personal brand is very, very important, right? And I think the way you go ahead and manifest that specific personal brand, I think live streaming is probably going to be dominant for a couple more years at least. I don't know. I'm not sure what's going to transcend the live streaming space. because obviously everybody hopped on the podcast wave. Everybody's been doing their own podcasts and shit like that. Obviously shorts were dominant. Shorts are still dominant as fuck, just because people can't fucking get the fuck off their phone, stop watching shorts. Of course, I'm a victim of this shit as well. So I do think the pendulum swings. So, and my guess is this, right? If I had to give you my guess, streaming's very, very popular right now. I think I give it a few more years, it's going to be a little less popular, right? Podcasts were pretty dominant, let's just say, for the last 5 years, right? You're going to see a trend in people doing less podcasts because they realize that it's kind of oversaturated. Even though we have more free speech than we've had the last couple of years, I think we're going to see a trend in people doing a little bit less podcasting. People are obviously hopping on the streaming wave. Me, I've been doing the live stream podcast. I think that's going to be a thing, which is why I decided to do it, 4 years ago, because I understood. I seen where the trend was going. I knew podcasts are very, very popular, and I understood very thoroughly that, live streams are going to be the future. So I decided to say, fuck it, might as well create both. So that's what I've been doing. So I think that's going to be a little bit more dominant. That's my prediction. But like I said, the pendulum swings, right? Just like almost with free speech, right? We were all censored, and now we're back to an era where it's a lot more censor free. People are speaking their mind. The pendulum's gonna swing, and I'm not sure what's gonna happen after live streaming. Or after I'll do you got the IRL streams and shit like that. So it's kind of branched out a little bit, but if I had to give my educated guess, I'm gonna say, I think the next thing is obviously gonna be AI videos. I think, right? Like super highly edited, super stimulating videos. That's gonna be my guess as far as where this is gonna head. And then after that, I'm gonna say I think it's going to go ahead and go into more raw, unedited videos. That's what I think. And it's gonna be a little bit more, people are going to search out authenticity, right? They're gonna search out raw humans being humans, going back to the very basics of conversation, and then maybe podcasts will pick up again. As far as a popular trend, as far as something that is dominating the main media of the masses. So that's going to be my guess. That's my guess for sure. If I had to give you a solid guess, so I think I'm positioning myself very, very good for the next couple of years. Like I said, I've been doing live streaming podcasting for 4 years. I'm gonna get back into. I'm not. Every single video that I make is not really edited that much. It's pretty raw, unfiltered. And I think if I keep building this and I build out an audience, I think eventually it will hit. And from there, like I said, the pendulum's gonna swing. People are gonna, they're gonna gravitate to the AI videos, and then they're gonna realize, holy shit, this is a waste of my time. This is a brain rot at its finest, because it's all fake. They're gonna search for that authenticity, and look at me sitting in the pocket, been waiting for, let's just say, what would be maybe close to 10 years by then. So we'll see. So that's my prediction for damn sure. But what do you guys think? What do you think is next? Does what I say make actual sense, or am I just talking complete bullshit? Who the fuck knows? But that's what I think, though. What do you think? But yeah, that's why you see streamers. Like I said, I think it's a good move for a lot of streamers, or rather a lot of rappers or a lot of athletes to begin on the pursuit of a more dedicated personal brand. I think it's a good move. And it's gonna shock the, like, I think Kyrie does it, Jaylen Brown does it. These are athletes. Like I said, Wiz Khalifa, rapper, does it. I know Bryson Tiller used to do it a little bit, but I think this is going to be the wave as far as, drops for music. Obviously, Drake's done his, stake streaming, things like that. I think he was a little bit early, but I think he'll probably continue to do it. But I think it's just a way to build the most authentic, personal relationship with the people that are, consuming your content. And I think I'm ahead of my time just a little bit, man. Hopefully it's not miscalculated, but that's my guess though, for sure. If you go ahead and request some music. If you're still watching, if you have any questions or anything, let me know. I just feel like talking. I'm gonna be honest with you. But like I said, if there's any music, feel free to let me know if you have any specific. If you know, you know. But I do want to talk about a little bit more things in terms of like content creation, as far as some of the things in which I see and some of the things that I observe. Something I wrote down, to an extent, if you're on here creating content, right? I really do believe that if it's good, to an extent, it's always going to be good. Of course, you're going to have content that's going to be, based in the time that it's made. But if you're on the pursuit of making anything that's resembling timeless content, which should be, telling the truth, helping people become more aware of the things in which hopefully are properly vetted as far as what they should be aware of. If it's good, if your content is good, if your content is true, if your content is trying to push people to become better to an extent, I think that type of content is timeless. And like I said, if it's good, it will always be good. So that I'm trying to be a visionary, a little bit more of a visionary when it comes to these specific things. I recognize that there are things that are truly timeless. There are things that are truly that inevitably will stand that will stand the test of time. I do believe that, and those are going to look like things like obviously things that are. I have a whole podcast dedicated to this, my own thoughts, but I'm trying to recall some of the things that I'd mentioned on that podcast. Things that are beautiful will always be beautiful, right? If it's good, it's good, right? Things that are funny to an extent will always be funny. I feel like people and humans, and especially society, we would like to think that we're past a lot of the goofy, dumb shit. We're not. I'm letting you know that right now, right? TikToks is obviously all these short form content is the exact epitome of what I'm talking about. You could say you're transcended as far as, what is humor, what's politically correct, but keep it a beanstalk. There's still plenty of people laughing at a bunch of dumbass shit. It's just how it is. People are going to be dumb. It's what it is. But yeah, if it's good, it's good. If it's beautiful, it's going to always be beautiful. It's funny, it can probably always be funny. If it's true, it's probably always going to be true. And it's pretty much it is kind of that simple. But yeah, if you're a person that's making content, and if you believe it's good, and there's a lot of foundations that are good, it's only a matter of time, in my opinion. Let me see. What else do I have to say for you guys? All right, let me ask you this question. And I have two more things I want to say, and then I'll go ahead and end it off. But first thing, when it comes to creating content and shit like that, one question you must ask yourself, and this is something that I've asked myself. I was watching a live stream, and then I decided to turn the shit off, honestly, because I was like, I'm better than the motherfuckers that I watch, in my opinion. I really believe that. Now, I don't know if you believe that as far as the people that you watch. I believe that I'm more than capable of doing anything and everything that any person that I've ever watched has done. I really do believe that. And it's only a matter of time before that's shown. Some people will probably call that delusional. In order to be great at anything, you need to be delusional at least a little bit. All the people that are great and that are actually remembered for something, they were all delusional at one point. So that's exactly what the type of shit I'm on, the vibe that I'm on. So call it what you want. I call it an absolute necessity. So ask yourself the question, what can you do that others can't do? What specifically makes you unique? And everybody, when they make content, right? Obviously, when you're talking, you're exposing a little bit more about what you know, right? You expose in some type of weird way. It's almost like a Freudian slip as far as the content that you watch, the things that you say, the things that you believe, right? All those things, right? You kind of display that through, you exposing the way in which you speak about certain things, of course. But when it comes to uniquely packaging what you have to offer, what can you do that others can't? And what are the things that particularly interest you? Hopefully, it's something that is vetted. And I mentioned this on plenty of episodes before, but what is something that is properly vetted in your opinion, that you can do that others simply cannot do? Or what is something that you observe somebody is doing that you feel you can do better at? And obviously customize it to make it a little bit more unique and make it more personal to you. And hopefully you can dominate in that specific regard as far as doing what you believe others can't do. So I think that's a good, very good foundation as far as for the people that want to make content. You're unique. Automatically, you're unique. You have unique interests that you're drawn to. You have a certain style, whether it's cool, whether it's not cool. You have a certain style. Some people are going to like it. Obviously, I look at the internet and I see a bunch of lames, if I'm being honest. And I see a lot of people that I'm cooler than. And I think if I create content, given enough time, enough dedication, enough hours, the sky's the limit. I see other people succeed and they don't look that special to me. They don't look that unique. They don't look as authentic as I know I could be. So they're trying to compete with me. I'm not trying to compete with them. And to an extent, I guess you could use the cop out of saying, you know what, if you make unique content, you're not competing with anyone. To an extent, that is true, but to an extent, you're competing with everyone. So yeah, just some of my 2 cents. I'm gonna go ahead and end it off here in a second, but I wanna leave you guys off with this. I'm gonna read what I wrote, and this is something that I mentioned a little bit earlier, and hopefully this can get to the right person, get to the right people in the moment that they're in right now. So another thing that I want to mention, I was reading the book Go Higher by Big Sean. I mentioned it a little bit earlier, but specifically, I'm gonna go over the 5 practices that he talks about, and then I'll get into kind of what stood out specifically to me. So his 5 Go Higher practices are accept, strategize, try, trust, and manifest. And I wrote, the bone I pick the most is people don't actually try. You can strategize all day that you want. You can accept or not accept the reality that you exist within. The harsh realities that do exist, the setbacks, the challenges that inevitably are going to be thrown your way. We could talk about what you can do. We can strategize and try to, implement certain things. But if you're not actually actively trying to become better, and you aren't doing the things that you know are going to actually push the levers that are going to be in your favorable result, then none of it matters at all. You could talk about it all day. You can strategize it all day. You can, try to manifest it all day. You can accept where you are all day. But if you're not trying and you're not trusting that if you try your best, that some result will come of that hopefully is within your favorable result, then none of it matters. So it's all talk. Everything's all talk until you do something. And obviously you know that, but I feel the need to still say it because there's enough people that don't hear exactly what I said. They need to hear what I've said. So, and I'm gonna read a little passage from Big Sean's book that I thought really stood out to me. He goes, if you don't trust yourself, then you have to ask yourself why that is. If you don't think you're good enough, he goes, no, my bad. Do you think you're good? Do you think you're not good enough? Do you think that you don't deserve what you want? Do you think that you don't deserve to get what you want? Are there any ideas that you may have inherited that are making you think this way? Have you become a self-sabotager? Is a lack of faith holding you back? Trust is one of the hardest things to maintain because it gets tested all the time by the world and all the experiences that come with it. But I'm here to tell you that we all have the willpower to make anything we desire happen. I want people to realize that you must trust yourself and you must trust the universe too. And I agree with Big Sean. I agree with Big Sean on that 100%. But like I mentioned, if you don't try, it's hard to trust. It's hard to have faith when you're not trying shit. When you're not actively trying to become better, when you're not actively doing the things, like I keep mentioning, that are going to move the levers, that are going to hopefully push you and steer you in the direction that you're meant to be. And, if you're settled, if you're comfortable, if you're content, live with that. And if you're not happy, you know why. But if you want to make some changes, some slight alterations that are going to hopefully better your life, you're not 100% satisfied, you have more in the tank, you have more to give, more to learn, you become, open to change, things can really change for you. And it really is that simple. I'm not going to say it's easy, but it is actually that simple. So that's pretty much all I have to say, man. Hopefully you guys enjoyed what I had to say. I know I went off on a little bit of a rant. I really didn't have too much planned. So I'm kind of just like saying the things that have been at the top of mind recently. But other than that, hopefully you enjoyed today. Like I said, I'm gonna try to be as consistent as I possibly can, with doing a live stream at the very least, making clips. I still need to get into, which I gotta hold myself accountable for that. I gotta make more short form content. I really do want another camera so I can really, lock in with that specifically, because it'll just be easier and more, less barriers of resistance. And I'm going to try to do podcasts every week, man. Hold me accountable to that. I'm going to try my best. And hopefully, like I said, at the end of the year, if I didn't hit 40 podcasts or I didn't fulfill any of those things, hopefully it's not a conversation that I have at the end of the year. But other than that, create some goals for yourself. Try things. Trust yourself. Yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say, man. Y'all have a good night. Tap in with the podcast that I'm going to be doing. I'm probably going to be doing it tomorrow because I can at least guarantee that I'm going to be off. So tap in with that tomorrow. I'm going to try to figure out the timing and all that, but hopefully it'll be somewhat favorable. But y'all have a good night. Podcast probably tomorrow, so tap in with that for sure. Y'all have a good night, man.